Hi, Coach here from UK Coaching. Today I'm going to talk to you about some pedaling drills. So if you're one of my coached athletes, you're going to find these drills in some of your workouts and they're going to challenge you a little bit. So why do we do the drills? Essentially, we want all the power that we're producing through the body going down through the legs and into the pedals, into your pedal stroke. So we want to keep the upper body as still as we can, hands nice and relaxed on the bars. So because most of us are on conventional chain rings, wound chain rings, at some point in your pedal stroke, usually at the top, there's a little bit of a dead spot. And we want to try and make our pedaling technique as smooth as we can to eliminate that dead spot as much as we can. So your foot position is critical on the bike. So you don't want to be toe down like I am now, really pointing your feet down into the bottom of your toes and angling up. Although in fairness, there have been some notable exceptions to this, but it depends on your own biomechanics. If you have a look at Marco Pantani, climbing, which he was renowned for, you'll see that he was very much a toe-down rider. That's down to his biomechanics and how it works. Conversely, you don't want to be dropping the heels. You want to have good ankle stability, so we're holding the feet in a good rigid position. So some of the drills that I'll be asking you to do. One is, we can move around on top of the bars. So the object of this exercise, so if you're using an app where you can see your RPMs, using a bike computer or an app, using Zwift or something, you can look at your RPMs, you can look at your power, and the aim is to try and keep it constant whilst we're moving around on the bike. So I can go from my hoods to my drops, and my pedaling is going to stay constant. I can go from my drops back up to my hoods. I can go from my hoods to the tops. And I can move around. I can go tops to drops. And back up to hoods. So I'm going to ask you to do some of those drills. When we're on the tops, our hands need to be relaxed, fingers relaxed, not gripping onto the bars. Elbows slightly bent, back nice and flat, pelvis tilted forward with your sit bones and your saddle. So going from there, the first drill that I'm going to talk about, just stop pedaling for a second, is to imagine that you've got some mud on the bottom of your shoe and you're going to pull back from the 5 o'clock there round to the 7 o'clock there. So you're actually going to pull back on the shoe. So you pull back and you can feel it into your calves and starting to activate your hamstrings and your glutes. So we're just going to pull back on that pedal stroke. So at the moment I'm just doing it with my left leg, right leg's just coming around for the right. Now I'm going to revert to both legs, pulling back from the 5 o'clock to the 7 o'clock. So these are scraping your shoes. Again, I'm not allowing my heel to drop. We can go from there. Another drill I'll ask you to do is to put pressure through your big toe in both feet so that you're just squashing your big toes into the point of your shoes. What this does is it will bring your knees in towards your top tube. So if you've got any knee issues where you've got a bit of undue tension going through the knees, with a bit of sideways twisting maybe of the patella, if you're throwing your legs out as you're pedaling. This is a good way to relieve that and even eliminate that. So now I'm just pushing pressure through my big toes into my shoes. So this is something when I'm out on the road, particularly if I'm on a flat piece or I'm in my TT bike, is I really focus on pushing my feet into my shoes. So I don't want to do it to the point where I'm pointing my feet downwards. What I want to do is just feel that pressure, that foot to bike connection through my pedals with that pressure going through the front of my shoe. The next drill you'll hear me talk about is we're going to go from that 7 o'clock phase there, and we're going to use the hamstrings here, and we're going to pull up on the pedals. So on each pedal revolution now, I'm using the muscles in the back of my leg to pull up on the pedals. And if you start to get these techniques right, you'll notice that you're actually putting less pressure through your quads, so you're not muscling the pedals over, and we're trying to get this technique as smooth and efficient as we can. Okay, the next technique that I'll ask you to do is knee thrusters. So on every pedal stroke, I want you to imagine that you're thrusting your knees up towards your handlebars. So we're thrusting the knees up towards the handlebars. And this is going to assist me on that pull phase of the pedal stroke. So I'm really thrusting my knees up towards my handlebars now. So imagine that your knees are the pistons on an engine and you're driving them towards your handlebars. And then lastly, we're going to put it all together. So what I want you to do when we put it all together is imagine your legs, your feet are traveling in the biggest circle that you can make them go in. And we're going to concentrate on keeping the pedal pressure constant all the way through the circle. So as we push down on the pedals, now I'm visualizing my legs are making the biggest circles I can possibly make, and I'm putting it all together. So I'm putting into practice all the drills that we've just done, and we're making the circles as big as we can make them. Another drill that I'll ask you to do is to pedal with one leg. Two ways that you can do this. One is you can unclip and just hang this leg out of the way, and then we're going to work on this pedal stroke. And again, you have to employ all those techniques of pulling up on the pedals, pulling round. And you've got to have enough pedal control that you don't get this catch up on the pedal there. So that catch up on the pedal. So you want to be focusing on pulling round all the way around with that one leg. If you don't fancy unclipping, all you can do is turn one leg off. So what I'm going to do is switch my right leg off. I'm not going to allow it to do any work. I'm just going to let my left leg do all the work. So now, left leg's doing all the work, right leg switched off. I change it again now, my right leg's going to do all the work, left leg's just coming around to the right. So all my mental focus is going into what my right leg and my right foot is doing on the pedal. So I might ask you to do 30 seconds on one leg, 30 seconds on another, then come back to using both legs. And being as smooth as you possibly can be on your pedal stroke. And again, if you've got a bike computer on or an app in front of you, look at your pedal strokes, look at your revs, look at your wattage. Is one leg stronger than the other? Is one leg more dominant? Because then we need to try and train the other so we get this balance throughout the body. Okay, so those are the pedaling drills. For some of you on your training plans, another drill that you're going to get is we're going to work on the core aspects here. So let's just talk about our position on the bike. So when we're riding the bike, just get going again. Your shoulders should be relaxed, you don't want any tension through the shoulders. Your hands should be nice and loose wherever they're positioned on the bars. No tension in the bars. If you're on the tops, you got to play the piano, wiggle those fingers around. You should have tilted your pelvis forward slightly Engage the core so we're holding the back nice and straight. So we're in this nice straight position. All the power should be going down through the legs. We don't want to see a lot of rocking of the shoulders, throwing the bike around with the body. It needs to be smooth. Everything needs to be smooth. You need to be spinning those legs and be on top of your pedal stroke. So we're going to work on the core from there. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to maintain this position and just lift one arm off the bike, put it behind your back. Keep your pedal stroke constant, maintain that position. Then we go from there and we remove both hands. So now you've got to rely on your core here to hold your body up. You can go back to the bike. From there, we can go into a Superman. Again, I can remove one hand here and remove the other one and extend out and go into the core movement and we're stabilising there and holding there. I can feel the difference on my pedal stroke as soon as I'm doing this. Another one, what I'll get you to do is to hold position and just lift your hands off the bike. And focus on what your legs are doing through the pedal stroke. Straight away I can feel that I was having to do a lot more work with my legs to hold myself in the position, and I was activating everything around. So remember, the core is from your elbows all the way down to just below your knees. It's not all about stomach muscles. It's about all those little muscles that are holding our major muscles into place. So there you have it. Those are some of the drills you're going to find within your training plans. Okay, use them in your warm-ups. You don't need me to put them in the training plan. On all your sessions, you're going to have at least a 10-minute warm-up where we're spinning and activating the body, getting it ready for the intervals that are going to come. So why not take that opportunity to practice some of those pedaling drills? Look at your timers and say, I'm going to do 30 seconds of that drill on my left leg, 30 seconds on my right, go back to both legs for 30 seconds. That's a minute and a half of your warm-up done, and you're activating all those muscles. So if you did all of the drills that we've just done, that's going to take you 5-6 minutes out of your 10-minute warm-up. So you can do that and you can start switching all these muscles on that we want to use in the warm-up. And remember, the warm-ups are critical to being able to perform effectively during the workout. Okay, so that's it for me. So those are the pedaling drills you're going to find on some of your workouts. And always focus on being as smooth as you can be throughout the pedal stroke, because that's the key to efficient and smooth riding. Okay, that's all from me for now. Happy riding and enjoy.